Hello and welcome to CIPD Bitesize. In this video, we're going to be looking at the 5001 Organizational Performance and Culture in Practice unit, looking at AC 1.1. Now, as always with CIPD Bitesize, AC 1.1 we make available for everyone. So whether you're a HRC Online learner or not, you'll be able to see this, and we'll give you some overview as to how you should approach one question by doing this, and also go over some of the information for this unit so that you've got a bit of a plan as well. Now, about this unit examines the connections between organizational structure and the wider world of work in a business context. It highlights the factors and trends, including the digital environment, that impact on business strategy, workforce planning, recognizing the influence of culture, employee well-being, and behavior in delivering change and organizational performance. Yeah, so that's what you're going to learn. Now, within this qualification, you get graded per AC. So there are 12 ACs. So ACs basically means questions. There are 12 questions in 5001. And each of those questions you will be graded either a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. Now, a 1 is referred to as a fail, 2 a low pass, 3 a pass, 4 a high pass. If you get one fail, just one, in one of the questions, you will have to resubmit that question. Most centers will give you 3 attempts. So first submission, if you get a 1, you'll get a second submission, and then you'll get a third submission and a final submission. And a 1, they call it a fail. They also refer to it as a refer. Basically means there's not enough information, there's not enough quality within your answer, there's not enough references and citations for that to be of sufficient depth to get you through that assessment. So you get 3 attempts, 1, 2, a 3, and a 4. You'll get graded against every single question that you get. Now, some centers, not us, but some centers have stopped providing detailed feedback about what you've done well and how to improve for numbers 2, 3, and 4, because CIPD say we no longer need to provide that level of detailed feedback, because these descriptions, and by all means pause it and have a read of the detailed descriptions on screen, these descriptions should be enough depth for you to know what you've done right and what you've done wrong. We will still be providing you at HRC Online with what you've done well, what you've done badly, how to improve for the future, unless you've got a 4, and then we won't tell you how to improve because you've absolutely nailed it. But you'll be graded against every single AC 1, 2, 3, or 4. And that will tell you how detailed your answer is. It's really difficult to get 4s. You should really be aiming for 3s. 2's okay. I'll say this now, and I'll probably say it throughout the entire recording. At no point in your HR career will anyone sit down with you and go, AC 2.1 on the 5003 unit, can you tell me what you got from a grade 1 to a grade 4? If you complete this qualification and all you score is 2s, you have got the same qualification as someone who studies this qualification and gets all 4s. There is no discernible difference apart from how close you are to having a refer on a 2 to a 4. It just shows you how to improve your answers, how in depth you're going, because if you think about what these questions do, they're asking you to look at business problems and give a written evidence-based answer to improve that business. And they want you to learn that repeatable skill of research, evidence, citation, data. Here you go, in a really short and effective written form. So again, got that covered. We're gunning for 2s and 3s all the way through. If we collect some 4s, great. If we get some 1s, it's not the end of the world. I'll get another resubmission. I'll get told what I've done wrong, and I'll put it right. Okay. So AC 1.1. Now, the first question of this is a pretty chunky question, and it's evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of both divisional structure and matrix structure. Within the evaluation, you should include the reasons underpinning each structure. Now, you're probably looking at the question underneath, which is the marking guide. Evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of different types of organizational structure, including the reasons underpinning them. Technically, they're the same question. It's just the question you get presented as a learner at the top has more detail in it. They're giving you the structure, they're giving you divisional, they're giving you matrix structure, they're giving you more information so you can make a better answer. The marking guide, so this is what goes to markers and graders and stuff like that. They can see the big question, but this is what you're being assessed on. The marking guide is the fundamentals of what you're being assessed on, which is why they'll see so similar but also slightly different. So we give you both in bite-size so that you know what the question you've been asked, because you've been asked to put yourself in the mind of a HR professional, but the markers are asked to grade you on, have you evaluated the advantages and disadvantages of different types of organizational structures, including the reasons underpinning them. The marking guide questions sometimes are a lot more helpful to learners, I find, than some of the learner-based questions, which is why we put them both in there. You can see them on the assessment structure anyway, because you can request the CIPD learner assessment brief, so you can see both sets of questions. So it doesn't make sense for me to hide the marking guide question from you when you can see it anyway. So that way we give you both, we give you everything. Now, what we do is let's break down the question. CIPD do something which I refer to as a cheeky S. And what the cheeky S is, they add S's to certain things so that you have more work to do. But if you'd miss it, then you're going to refer on the question. Because in this question, you've been asked to evaluate, so the pros and cons, the advantages, cheeky S, disadvantages, cheeky S, of both a divisional structure and a matrix structure. Within your evaluation, you should include the reasons, cheeky S, plural, underpinning each structure. Now, I refer to it as a cheeky S because if you look at that and you give me one advantage and one disadvantage of the divisional structure, you would score a 1. If you give me 2, you would score a 2 or a 3. If you give me 3, you're on track for a 4, but you might not have the words for that because AC 1.1, you have 380 words. So there's 4,550 words for 5001, which means you've got 380 or 379 if you want to be exact, but 380 words to answer this question. So when you break this question down into its action points, which we'll do here, evaluate, to judge, calculate the quality, importance, amount, or value of something. So if you break this question down, action point 1, advantage of divisional structure, advantage 1 of advantage 2 of divisional structure, and the reason underpinning it. Advantage 1 of matrix structure and the reason underpinning it. Advantage 2 of matrix structure and the reason underpinning it. Then what you need to do is you need to do disadvantage of divisional structure, disadvantage of divisional structure, disadvantage of matrix structure, disadvantage of matrix structure. So you have got within 380 words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 action points. 8 action points. I don't know where I got 9 from. Now, when you do the disadvantages, you don't need the reasons underpinning the disadvantages, because if you do the reasons for the advantages, you're more likely to go that. So the study tip on this is watch out for cheeky S's in CIPD questions. They love to throw them in there. They appear when you least expect them. But if you think advantage, 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 disadvantage, 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 you're looking at 8 action points. Only need to do the reasons underpinning the advantages because they're the reasons underpinning them. There's no reason underpinning a disadvantage. It's only really the positive. So you've got 8 action points in this. You're working with the verb evaluate, which is the quality, importance, amount, or value of something. So just be careful when answering this question because you probably need to allocate more than 380 words. There are some questions where you can make some words back. And you can go 10% over. You can go 10% over, you can go 10% over, but one word either way, instant refer. On the whole assessment, you have to resubmit. So always keep yourself within the word count. You probably need, for me, you probably need about 600 words for this. So this could throw you off. If you do this question first, you're like, God, I've done 600 words. You need a lot of words for this question. I'll tell you that from the off. At least 600, I reckon you need to really get a sufficient depth to answer this. Now, every action point, reference, citation, evidence-based evaluation. This isn't just I think, because the reason underpinning these advantages, these disadvantages, are evidence, and you need evidence for that. So again, make sure that you're getting your references, make sure you're getting your citations, make sure that you're using that. Now, one of the things we also do in CIPD Bitesize is we point you to some resources that are going to help you answer the question. So AIHR is Australia's version of CIPD. They've got a glossary on divisional structure. It's really detailed. It really gives you quite a lot of detail and quite a lot of data behind it. The Harvard Business Review has problems with matrix organizations. Really quite, so you've been asked divisional and matrix organizations. The Harvard Business Review article on that is, again, it's a really detailed article. It really goes into some depth in terms of the struggles people have, because you can look at those and also think about, well, actually, there's some advantages there. Whilst they say that that's hard, that would mean that this is better. And then the CIPD fact sheet on organizational design is one that we would recommend that you read as well, because that's got some really, really good and useful information about other structures, so that you can sort of go, the reason this divisional structure is better is when you compare it to hierarchical structure or flat structure or something like that. We can see that this actually brings progression for people in career, blah, 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 blah. But you don't have to explain the reasons of the other structures. You're just comparing it to. So the CIPD fact sheet on organizational design is a great one. One of the things you will hear me say probably in every video is CIPD does love CIPD. So if you are going to reference anyone, if you are going to use evidence for anything like that, where you can, always seek out CIPD reference. Now, one of the things that we do is we give you a bit of a hypothetical situation, just so that you can try and sort of get your head around the question from a different way, because you're thinking about it from an organization perspective. So what we do in Bitesize is we try and give you a bit of a fictitious scenario, just so that you can put your head in the question, but look at it through a different lens. So for this, you're the mayor. Congratulations. You're the mayor of a rapidly growing city, but you need to organize your city's workforce to effectively build new neighborhoods and maintain existing ones. You have two main options. You can do a divisional structure, which is building separate boroughs. So people build different boroughs in different areas. It's like dividing your city into self-contained boroughs. Each borough has its own department for planning, construction, maintenance, and fire safety. They operate independently, focus solely on their borough's needs. The advantages, their focus, their efficiency, they can specialize in unique challenges and develop tailored solutions. There's clear accountability. Performance is easily measured borough to borough. You've got fast decision making. Local issues can be resolved quickly without going through layers of bureaucracy. Whoa, that's hard to say. Disadvantages, you've got a duplication of resource, so each borough is having its own departments, leading to inefficiencies. You have a lack of coordination, which can be difficult to share resources or knowledge between boroughs. You've got the potential for silos. Boroughs might become too independent, hindering overall city progress. Now, think about this in the NHS and hospitals. Different hospitals function currently as separate things, but what they are doing is Greater Manchester, for example, is then being starting to overarch in some of them, but a lot of them deal with their own local health inequalities and their own health issues. So try to think about it from that way when you're thinking about these organizational structures and the reasons they underpin. Now, the matrix structure is like cross-functional teams. This is like creating a project-based team that draw people in from different departments across the city. For example, a team might include planners, engineers, construction workers, and environmental specialists to build a park. And the advantage of this is flexibility. Teams can assemble and disband projects as needed. You've got shared knowledge. People from different departments can collaborate, leading to innovative solutions. You've learned from mistakes and other elements. You've got efficient use of resources. Skills and equipment can be shared really easily. But some of the disadvantages can be managing multiple reporting lines, to both the functional manager and the project management can be challenging, especially for someone who wants to have control of their career. You've got conflict disputes between functional managers and project managers. You have slower decision making because you need consensus, and consensus can sometimes be time consuming. So if you think about what structure is best, it probably depends on the organization and what the organization is trying to achieve. because the optimal structure depends on the city's specific needs and goals. A rapidly expanding city might benefit from a divisional structure and quickly build new neighborhoods, whereas a city focused on sustainability and innovation might prefer a matrix structure to foster collaboration and creativity. One of the ways I thought about this question when I was first reading it is I thought about America. So America functions very much in states and independent boroughs and stuff like that. And I think as America starts to mature and as it starts to grow, and we talk about thousands and thousands of years, it starts to become its own unique silos. And a bit like Europe now is, some states are the same size as certain countries. They become their own independent structure over time because they become hardened and they have their own specialists. But the way for America to grow so rapidly is boroughs and having their own independent specialists within. It's just that might become ingrained, and they may end up in a more rigid structure, a bit like European countries. So there are a billion things to think about with this. When you're thinking about the advantages and disadvantages, think about your organization. Think about, are you currently in rapid expansion? Do you need more do you need more people coming together? What do you need? What could the pros and cons be? But make sure that you seek evidence and research to support whatever conclusion you're trying to find the answer to, because that's what you need to be successful in CIPD questions. Research and evidence is absolutely critical to everything you do. Absolutely best of luck, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care.